The Slammies is finally back. I absolutely love award shows, and I was always pretty excited when WWE did them. Now, I was a little upset when WWE stopped doing them a couple of years ago because I always thought it was pretty cool. If you guys do go on to enjoy this video, remember to subscribe to the channel. We are so close to 300,000 subscribers. It's absolutely free. You can always change your mind later. Now, let's take a look at the categories for the Slammies this year. There's Superstar of the Year, Match of the Year, Rivalry of the Year, Tag Team of the Year, Return of the Year, Ring Gear of the Year, Breakout Star of the Year, Female Superstar of the Year, Male Superstar of the Year, and Moment of the Year. Now, apparently we can only vote on like the first 5 awards, which is pretty weird, but I'm going to tell you who I would vote for all 10 categories. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video so you see who I think is Superstar of the Year. So for Moment of the Year, we have The Undertaker's final farewell at Survivor Series, then Drew McIntyre defeating Brock Lesnar to win the WWE Championship, Becky Lynch announcing her pregnancy, Edge returning, The New Day's farewell, Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman uniting, Bayley betraying Sasha Banks, and the New Day getting drafted to different brands. All of those are pretty good moments, but I don't know. It may just be me, but nothing is beating Edge returning at the Royal Rumble. This man returned from neck surgery, bro. It took how many years? Like 10, 11 years, bro. Nothing's beating that. Edge has Moment of the Year. Then next we have Male Superstar of the Year, Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, Braun Strowman, or The Fiend Bray Wyatt. To me, it's between Drew and Roman. They had amazing years. You know, Roman did miss a lot of 2020, and I don't really blame him. He was just protecting his family, but Drew was here for the entire year. I gotta give Male Superstar of the Year to my boy Drew McIntyre. Now for Female Superstar of the Year, I feel like all of them are pretty good for this, you know, category, except Charlotte. Charlotte, I mean, she had a good 2020, but like she hasn't been here for like the tail end of 2020. Same for Becky. I mean, Becky just had her kid, congratulations. But I feel like it's definitely between Asuka, Sasha, and Bayley. I think Sasha and Bayley had a really good rivalry, and I think I may end up voting for them for Rivalry of the Year. But for like an individual superstar, I think I might have to give that to Asuka. WWE put a lot of trust in her this year, and it may be a little biased because Asuka is probably my favorite WWE superstar at the moment right now, but I think it's deserving. Now, Breakout Superstar of the Year is a little tricky between Dominic, Bianca, Otis, the Street Profits, and Murphy, because I think Murphy has had a pretty good year. Dominic, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's had a great year. You know, he debuted at SummerSlam and stuff like that, but he hasn't done a whole lot. Bianca hasn't done a whole lot. Otis, I mean, he won Money in the Bank, but then he lost it. The Street Profits have been having a really good year. They have not dropped the titles. I'm not really sure. I think I'm gonna give Breakout Star of the Year to Dominic. This man earned my respect after all of those kendo stick shots, like all of them. he got that one. He's had some really good spots too in his matches. I think Dominic is probably the most deserving of Breakout Star of the Year. Charlotte, I mean, all her attires low-key look the same. Sasha's was pretty good. Rollins had like a handful of attires this year. Shinsuke is random to me. I don't know about y'all, but this man is nowhere near the top of the list for Ring Gear of the Year. Carmella, that's random. That is so random. I feel like New Day and Bianca have had the most creative Ring Gear attires. So between them two, I'm gonna have to give that to the New Day. They always have creative and fun attires, and there's always like a deeper meaning behind their gear. So I gotta give that to the New Day. Now here is where we can finally vote. Who is the Slammy Award winner for Return of the Year? Edge, Roman Reigns, MVP, Goldberg, or Sami Zayn? Nothing is beating Edge, bro. Nothing. I don't care. I'm biased. Now for Tag Team of the Year, the Golden Role Models, aka Bayley and Sasha Banks, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, the New Day, the Street Profits, or Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro. I think Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro are a good tag team, but the Street Profits, they're amazing. New Day, amazing. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, I mean, they're the women's tag champs right now, but what have they really done? The Golden Role Models was a fire tag team. The rivalry was dope. Everything about that whole thing was amazing. But I feel like the whole point of Bayley and Sasha Banks's like tag team was for them to break up. So I think for this category, I think I'm gonna have to go with the Street Profits. Now for Rivalry of the Year, there is Seth Rollins versus the Mysterio family, Bro, at first, that rivalry was dope, and then it dragged way too long. No, and I think, if I could be wrong, but I think it's still going. Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. Edge versus Randy. I think that was a really good rivalry in my opinion. Then there was Sasha Banks versus Bayley, which was really good. R-Truth versus The World. I love R-Truth, but I don't think he'll win rivalry of the year. Lana versus announcers tables. No, I think I'm gonna have to give it to Sasha Banks and Bayley for rivalry of the year. I think the only thing I would nitpick about that rivalry is when Sasha Banks was like injured with her neck or whatever, they could have left her out for a little bit longer. They brought her back a little too quick, but that's just me nitpicking. Other than that, I thought their rivalry was great. So I'm giving them rivalry of the year. Now we got match of the year. Undertaker versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania 36. The New Day versus The Hurt Business on Raw. Edge versus Randy Orton at Backlash. The Men's Royal Rumble match. AJ versus Daniel on SmackDown. Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso at Hell in a Cell. Sasha Banks versus Bayley at Hell in a Cell. AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn versus Jeff Hardy at Clash of Champions. Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns at Survivor Series. And Becky Lynch versus Asuka at the Royal Rumble. Now there are too many matches here for me to break down every single one, but I'll give you like my top three. Number three, Undertaker versus AJ Styles for the Boneyard match. Second, I'd probably say AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan. I think that was the finals for like the Intercontinental Championship tournament, I believe. I could be wrong, but I think that's what that one was. My number one is the Men's Royal Rumble match. For one, I love Rumbles. Two, the match was a lot of fun. Then you had Brock destroying everybody. Then you had Brock facing off against Keith Lee, which was a lot of fun. Then you had Ricochet kicking Brock where the sun don't shine to close their rivalry for whatever match they had at one of the Saudi shows. I don't remember which one. Then Drew McIntyre eliminates Brock Lesnar, and that was probably the biggest pop of the night. And then of course, Edge returning, which was lit. MVP returning was lit. Then you had Edge and Randy like facing off, which was really cool. Then you had Drew and Roman, the final two in the Royal Rumble. I thought the closing sequence was dope. Roman was trying to go for a spear, but he got caught with a Claymore, and the sound of that Claymore, I remember it, bro. It was so loud. The pop for that was amazing. Roman selling that was really good, and then Drew eliminating and winning. Feel good moment. Amazing. The Men's Royal Rumble match this year was top tier. That is what I am voting for. And for Superstar of the Year, we got Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Bayley, Sasha Banks, Asuka, The Fiend, Braun Strowman, Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, and Drew McIntyre. This is all I'm gonna say. Braun Strowman has not been Superstar of the Year since like 2017. I just want to get that out the way. Now, I feel like The Fiend is just The Fiend. He's a great character, but I don't think he's Superstar of the Year. I don't remember the last time Charlotte was even on TV, so I'm not even gonna give her Superstar of the Year. Becky had a good year, but you know, she got pregnant. It is what it is. She wasn't here for like the tail end of 2020, so I'm not going to give her Superstar of the Year. Bayley had a good 2020. I will say that, but I'm not giving it to her either. Same with Sasha Banks. Good year, but no. Neither is Randy Orton. Asuka, I'd probably put as like a top 3 contender for Superstar of the Year, but she ain't getting the cut this year. It's down to Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns returning was really good, and I love that they finally just pulled the trigger and turned him heel. This is the best work of his career, but I'm giving Superstar of the Year to Drew McIntyre. This man was released back in the day. He comes back, has a great comeback, finally wins the title, and nobody is there for it. You gotta feel for him. Plus, they gave him the title during the era where he had to hold the fort down, bro. Drew McIntyre is Superstar of the Year. I think this year proved, especially with that WWE can trust Drew McIntyre, and he will be a multi-time WWE champion or Universal champion, either one. Let me know if you guys disagree or agree down in the comment section below. Click one of these 2 videos on screen if you want to keep watching the videos, and I'll see you guys later. Deuces.